Once, in a small town, there lived a boy. One summer, he went to visit his grandfather during his vacation. He loved spending time with his grandpa and playing with him every day. One day, he asked, "Grandpa, when I grow up, I want to be a successful person. Can you tell me how to achieve success?" His grandfather smiled, nodded, and took him to a nearby nursery. There, he bought 2 small plants and brought them home. He planted one in a pot and placed it inside the house, while the other one he planted outside in the garden. Then the grandfather turned to the boy and asked, "Which of these 2 plants do you think will grow better in the future?" The boy thought for a moment and replied, "The plant inside the house will grow better because it is protected from dangers, unlike the one outside, which has to face strong sunlight, storms, rain, and animals." Grandpa smiled and said, "Let's see what happens over time." Years passed, and after 4 years, the boy visited his grandfather again. As soon as he saw him, he said, "Grandpa, last time I asked you how to be successful, but you never gave me an answer. This time you have to tell me." His grandfather chuckled and said, "Of course, but first let's check on our plants." He took the boy to see the plant that was growing inside the house. It had grown, but it was still small and fragile. Then they went outside to look at the second plant. It had grown into a large, strong tree. The grandfather smiled and said, "This plant had to endure storms, heavy rain, and strong sunlight, yet it kept growing. Facing hardships made it stronger. Now no storm can easily harm it. But the plant inside the house remained weak because it never had to struggle or adapt to challenges." Then he looked at his grandson and said, "Remember, my son, success comes from struggle. If you choose comfort, you won't grow to your full potential. But if you embrace difficulties and challenges, no goal will be out of reach. So never see obstacles as barriers. Think of them as stepping stones to success." The boy took a deep breath and looked at the strong tree. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind. The difficulties we fear in life are not our enemies. They shape us into stronger and more successful individuals. Life often presents us with challenges, and sometimes we feel discouraged. But just like the plant that grew outside, we must learn to see difficulties not as setbacks, but as opportunities to grow, adapt, and become stronger.